there, everybody. Thanks for joining me tonight. Again, gonna start face down because I know it's been working, so I'm not gonna rock the boat. I'll just wait for a couple of you guys to hop on here and join me for another Make It With Me Monday. Hard to believe we've been doing this for 16 weeks already. That seems like a crazy amount of time to have gone by when I'm not even feeling that much yet. It's kind of crazy. Hope you all had a good weekend. I know it turned out kind of hot, but one of our neighbors was nice enough to invite us over for a little splashing in the pool. Zach really enjoyed that. That was kind of nice. So I was doing good. All right, I'll wait a few more minutes and see if anybody's gonna hop on with me. If you're here, go ahead and shout out a note or something and say hello. So I can see at least one person's watching already. Okay, good. So, all right, I'm gonna get started with a little bit of my, pre-talk or whatever. I'll go over here for you guys again, what you should have had ready for tonight. So you need a card base that's 5.5 by 6.5, and it should be scored at 4 1/4 on the long edge. So along the 6.5 inch length, you wanna score it at 4 1/4, okay? And I'm gonna use mint macaron tonight. Then you wanted a piece of cardstock that was 3 by 3. It could be the same or different than your card base. I'm going to be using Blushing Bride for mine. And again, my base was mint macaron. Neutral pieces that are 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. You need 2 of those. I forgot to write down 2. Hi, Carol. Good to see you tonight. And then you need a piece of designer series paper that was 2 by 5 1/4, and you're going to use it vertically. Mine comes from... Of course, I forgot to write that down. I looked that up really quick. That was part of the new artist selection. I've been using it a lot. I don't think I got the stamp set to go with it, but I'm using that designer series paper a lot. Here we go, hand penned. There we go. On page 131, the florals are lovely. So I've been definitely going towards those a lot lately, and they have pretty spring colors, which I know we're not quite into spring anymore, but kind of makes you feel good sometimes. Okay, so hope you guys have all of that ready to go. I forgot to write it here. I'll add this so that I have it for later. That you need 2 pieces of that 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 of your neutral. Okay, so we're gonna start out with those 2 neutral pieces. And without spoiling too much, I'm gonna tell you one ends up on the front and one ends up on the inside. So whatever you brought for stamps tonight, images versus whatever, I know, Carol, right? They're so pretty. Go ahead and pick those out right now and go ahead and stamp your 2 pieces. So remember, one is for the outside, or the front cover if you want to call it that, and one is for the inside. So I'm going to use tonight, I'm using Color and Contour again. I know I've kind of overused almost the seams lately. I'm going to try to make sure I pick something different for the ones coming up. I'm going to focus on this piece tonight with the longer stem. It's going to go off my piece a little bit, but I wanted to show you how this 2-step part works. And then again, one of my 2 favorite new font phrases that are in here. So, okay, so for my outside piece, I'm going to start with my phrase that I want to have on it. Hi, Kathy. Good to see you tonight. I'm going to use my So Very Happy For You in my mint macaron. And pardon me if my head gets in the way. And I'm going to put that up in my top corner because I want to have room for my flower to fit on there. All right. So again, you guys stamp up your things. You want 1 piece inside, 1 piece outside. Okay. I'm going to do my memento for the outside floral image. Put that on a little bit of an angle, and that's going to fill in the rest of my space. And then if you're not exactly familiar with how a 2-step stamp works, that's literally what that means in the definition of it. So there's 2 steps involved in getting the finished image. So step 1 was for me to take that outline image and stamp that. And then there's another image, and I'm going to show you on the stamp case because it's a little easier to see. This one right here, all these little floral blobs will fill in the parts there that are on there. So I'm going to take my Blushing Bride ink. And this is another one of those where they put the shading elements already into the stamp. So even as you ink that up and get ready to stamp it, it's going to look like it's not quite fully covered with ink, and that's designed on purpose that way so that when you stamp it, you get elements of dark and light and shading. And again, it's not a perfect match, which I love. I kind of like a little bit of that white space showing through. So as you can see, there's some parts that look darker, some look lighter, some parts get left completely white. It kind of gives you a more natural finished look because you don't find probably in nature everything perfect all the time. Pardon me if my hands keep getting in the way. Okay, so there is my outside image. For my inside, I'm going to go ahead and use the You're Absolutely Amazing. I think that pairs up pretty well with the other phrase. Whoop, let me get that on my black. And so I'm just going to do a little phrase on the inside because I want to have a little bit of room left over to write a little message. Okay? All right. So give me a little thumbs up or something to that effect if you're as far as me, and if not, I'm going to hold off just another minute or so to make sure everybody gets caught up. Oh, I remember what I forgot to do. I'm going to take my Macron marker and I'm just going to touch up a couple parts very lightly inside where those leaves are supposed to be. Because these are both, my Memento ink is water-based and so is my marker, I'm trying to be really careful not to hit all the way to the edges because they will bleed together. So I don't want to do that. So I'm trying to just really light touches so that way I get a little bit of those leaves colored in. Okay, hi Joyce, good to see you tonight. All right, so there's my finished piece. I've got a little bit of green into the leaf parts. And again, we did that two-step to get the flower image. Okay, so you remember you have a front image and an inside square. So if you have a different verse or something you're putting for the inside, or if you're leaving it completely blank for now, go for that. Because I know sometimes I do these too where it's like, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna use it for yet. And I don't wanna put my thing on there. Hi Karen, how is everything in Florida? We've been nice and hot and humid, so it's been feeling kind of yucky up here. Okay, you should again have your 5.5 by 6.5 piece and scored at 4 1/4. So you're just gonna wanna go ahead with your bone folder or some nice solid surface there. Score that where it's supposed to be so you have just a little bit of a flap. Okay, like so. You're gonna take, let's set these aside for a second. You're gonna take your designer series paper. And again, mine is hand penned. Beautiful light sherbety colors. I think that's good. Hi Mom, how are you tonight? Sherbety colors, that's kind of pretty way to put those. Okay, so your designer series paper is gonna go on that flap. And again, vertical design layout is kind of the idea of this one. All right, so we got that. Now I want you guys to take whatever you've created for your front image and your 3x3 cardstock. And again, remember it could be the same color as your base or something coordinating. I just opted on this one to do something coordinating. All right, we're gonna put adhesive on that and add that so that there's a nice even border on that square. All right, and I'm gonna show you where we're gonna take this. It's gonna end up going about there in the middle of the layout. So what you wanna do, depending on how you're going to mount this, if you're using dimensionals to get a little bit of lift, or if you're using your regular adhesive, make sure you're only putting adhesive on the left edge because otherwise you're gonna close your card up by gluing down that right side. So you only want adhesive a little bit along your left edge. Okay, I'm gonna go flat on today. I know you guys are probably shocked I'm not using dimensionals. I almost always use dimensionals. Okay, so again, just on the left side so that when you open it, you've got that little bit going like that. Okay, everybody with me here? Oh, good, Kathy. I know you probably looked at the card base size and went, what in the world is she doing? Okay, now, what I want you guys to do then is open this up and lay it in front of yourself like so. All right, so you can see just that little bit of your front layer and then into the inside layers. Take the remaining square that you have, put some adhesive on it. Now make sure that you have the top and the top in the same place. So otherwise your inside's gonna end up upside down. This is the trick I discovered to make sure that my hidden element is where I want it to stay hidden. Oh good, yeah, glad you got some rain. We're in need of some too, Karen, I can tell you that for sure. All right, so lay this down. So you look like you're leaving the border here and the adhesive is up, sticky side up. And you want to make sure that your top and your top are lining up. And then just take it and fold it and adhere it like so. So that when you are ready to open it, it's being perfectly hidden by your square. Now, I haven't gotten it perfectly every time. It's pretty good actually. Sometimes I had needed to adjust it just a little bit, but I think that works out pretty good. All right, guys, and there is your card. Okay, so again, you can try to eyeball to, put that on the inside, but I found that trick kind of puts it where it needs to be almost right away. All right, so I will leave this handy while I go through, of course, my alternate versions for you guys. I did a couple different things today. I know, it's one of those when you see the dimensions, Kathy, you kind of go, what? But yeah, it makes sense when you see it. All right, so for one of my extra samples today, I used elements from the Ice Cream Corner, which is on 48 and 49 of the January to June mini catalog. Some of these elements are carrying over. The ice cream set and punch will be carrying over, but not the paper or the sprinkles or the ribbon. So if you're in love with any of that, please make sure you snatch it up before they're gone, because those are retiring elements. Okay, so first I did one pretty much in the identical layout for this. So I used some of the designer series paper, I stamped my ice cream cone, and there I have my happy birthday phrase. And that all comes from that sweet ice cream set. So there's the ice cream scoop, and let me put this down a little bit. There we go. So there's the ice cream scoop and the sprinkles and the cone base, and then the hash marks that kind of make that pattern for the ice cream cone. And then of course the happy birthday. Okay. And the you're so cool is all in there. All right. So that's basically the same kind of layout. So hidden panel inside and the ice cream guys. And then of course, because I always show you guys a little bit of a stepped up version, I stepped up this one today. So what I did was I added a layer of Blackberry Bliss behind my designer series paper. So it pops that out just a little bit more. I went with a little bit more stamping. I took the sprinkles around the edge of here in the same color. This is cinnamon cider. I stamped them off a couple of times in the blackberry before I stamped them on there. So there's just a little kind of a pattern behind my You're So Cool. And then this time I did these guys on a piece of scrap paper and I punched them out. So this ice cream cone is actually popped up and three-dimensional. And then I also, let me see if I can get it to tip a little bit. I added Wink of Stella to my ice cream cone so you can see it kind of like sparkles and shimmers. Okay. And then for the inside parts where I stepped it up a little bit, I added a few more panels. So what I did was I did the same thing here. I added the panel, I stamped it directly on it this time. Then I did the same trick we did with the inside one, but I went a couple extra layers. So I wrote my happy twice, my birthday, and I added sprinkles around that. And then again, another blackberry layer. So this is just a way to, like I said, it's a stepped up version. You're just adding layers, dimension, that kind of thing. So my ice cream cone has popped up on dimensionals. It's also been three-dimensionalized by using the punch instead of just the stamp, okay? And then for the last one, in case you have a particularly dark card base and it kind of bothers you that there's not enough white to maybe like write your message or something like that, I'm going to show you. I started with this one. This is completely monochromatic. This is all done in Misty Moonlight. This paper comes from the Dandy Garden, which is in the January to June mini catalog, so also going away. And then I use the A Good Man stamp set, and you can find that in the annual catalog on page 46. So there's our nice, relaxed dad on the beach. I'm going to be sending this to someone for Father's Day. Haven't decided who yet. Says, it's your day, and then relax your way. So this was done exactly like the first one, same layers, same layout and everything. But like I said, if you decided that you wanted a little bit more white space inside, you could take it and do the full back side, 4 by 5 1/4, do those layers like usual, so they're still hidden, but that gives you a completely different visual image for the outside as well. It'll take away some of the, so you see the difference there. There's, I kind of like the darker look. If you like to have more of that contrast with the white, do a layer behind it. Okay, so that is a bunch of different ways you can use this concept. I'll bring in my ice cream guys again. There we go. All right, so I hope you guys all enjoyed that different twist on a layout tonight. And I didn't think about it too, but I suppose you could absolutely do the horizontal version of that. It's kind of what I like about some of these fun fold things. They work vertically and horizontally. I tend to go a lot more vertical with my cards these days, so but horizontal layout on this particular one would absolutely work. All right, everybody, I hope you have a great rest of your Monday evening. Stay cool if it's hot and humid by you guys, or whatever it's gonna be. And you guys have a great rest of your day, like I said, and I will see you all next week. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me.